Hello there, you are welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a space for you to sit, grow, thrive through practical steps or tips that are going to help you be a better version of yourself. This is through empowerment, lifestyle, and life hacks that are going to help you to be a best version of yourself. So sit down today on this new episode with your girl Martha and let's digest all the nuggets in. So, in this episode, we are going to be digesting or tackling isolation and loneliness, but majorly we'll talk about loneliness. This is an issue that affects most of us in our day-to-day lives. No matter where you are, sometimes you may sit back and feel lonely. So today I am going to be talking us through how what loneliness is, what the symptoms of loneliness are, and what triggers loneliness. And then we shall also talk about how we can deal or work around being lonely through some different and practical, tested life hacks or coping strategies that will help us walk through the journey of loneliness and isolation. So stay put. So we will begin by talking about what loneliness is. Loneliness, these are feelings or when somebody feels they are left out or cut from the world. These are feelings of being so alone and being not able to engage properly with other people because of different issues that we will tackle on later. But usually loneliness makes you feel, feelings of loneliness make you feel cut out from the world. And it's a subjective issue because sometimes you could be surrounded by people and yet you feel lonely, or sometimes you could be alone and you're lonely. You could even be alone and happy. So that's why I'm saying that loneliness as a subject is a subjective issue. So, and these feelings of loneliness can make us feel sad, can make us feel incomplete, can make us feel left out. So loneliness is, it's not complex, but then it's something I feel that we should need to talk about today. And it doesn't matter where you are or where you come from. These feelings of loneliness may come and they could be triggered by different things that I will tackle on later on. But then before we go forward, I need to talk about the symptoms of loneliness or things that may indicate that you are lonely or you are entering or you're in the phase of loneliness. First and foremost, I could start by saying loss of a friend or a family member, and this loss could be through bereavement or maybe you've fallen out with your friend. So that could be so we are going to talk about the symptoms of loneliness or things that may indicate that we are entering or we are in a loneliness phase. One, it could be lacking confidence. Sometimes you may be in a space where you don't feel confident to talk to people. Even when people smile at you, say, "Hi Martha, how are you doing?" But then you're like, you're not on it. And then also feelings of worthlessness or sometimes depression, or when you're low mood or you just like feeling you're not on this. So sometimes such things could be a symptom of loneliness. And also feeling caught in a cycle that you cannot break away from, like it could be your day-to-day life or your routine. So sometimes it may appear like it's normal to you or okay to you, but in the long run you realize you're stuck in a situation you can't get out of. You can get out of it, but then it is hard for you at the moment to break from it, and that could be one of the symptoms of being loneliness. And then also when you struggle or you're fearful in social situations, maybe people scare you or you don't want, like social anxiety, though that can be a symptom of loneliness. And also when one is pessimistic or doubtful of their current or future relationships, that could be a symptom of loneliness. And then when life starts to be pointless, like, why am I living, why am I here, those are some of the symptoms of loneliness. But then I want to put a disclaimer on this video that I'm not a therapist. Everything said in this video is from research and also is through my lived experience. So I do research, and everything I talk about, I have either gone through it, and I would never share something I haven't gone through it, because this channel is all about my lived experience and how I use my lived experience to inspire you so that we can grow and thrive together. All right, then, moving on swiftly, I am going to speak about the triggers of loneliness. So it could be that one has lost a family member or a friend, and they feel so empty. So bereavement or falling out with a friend or a family member could be one of the things that can trigger loneliness. And then splitting with a partner, calm relationships go. So some people may find that when they split with a partner, or they've been with this person for a long time or a meaningful time, and when they split up, that could be a feeling that was going to make them feel so lonely. And then there is what we call social anxiety, or feeling less conscious. It makes you feel less conscious because every time you are in people or amongst a crowd of people, your heart is racing, you feel really anxious, and that could be a thing that could trigger the loneliness, because you're like, every time I'm with people, this happens to me, why? So such things could trigger loneliness. And then sometimes early life issues like our upbringing. Some people could have been abused, some people could have experienced inconsistent parenting, and this leaves us to unhealthy attachments. So every time those early child experiences keep ringing into our day-to-day life, and that could lead us to feeling lonely, feeling like we are cut off from the world, we are different from other people, and yeah, that is a trigger. So another trigger could be a low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is when one is not able to express themselves the way they're supposed to, because they have an inner energy in them that keeps putting them down to be who they want to be. And that's low self-esteem, honestly, could make somebody get into a phase of loneliness. And then poor self-image, when you are not confident or happy or thankful of who you are. I will use my example. Say you're an average bodied person, like this, and or you're even like, I'm just using like body image. So let's say people used to call me fat. Let's say that could have led me to be in a phase of being lonely, because every time I reflect on my self-image, I'm like, oh, even my peers are not appreciating me because I'm big, because I'm fat, and that could lead to somebody feeling lonely because they feel cut off from their peers or their friends. And then being unemployment is one of the things that can make you feel lonely. I remember back when I was in Uganda, I had graduated from university, and I did not get like a stable job for 2 years. 2 years on the streets. You're hustling, you're selling shoes. I used to sell shoes. I used to market land. I used to do different things for survival. And usually this could lead you in a way where you're questioning your value to the world. You're like, I have gone to university. I have done my 3 years. But here I have 2 years. No stable job. No application is being accepted. So it may make you question how useful you are to the world, and such a state or such a phase could be a trigger of loneliness. And then a work stress, or when you're stressed because you're caring for other people. I'm going to digest this in different in different phases. So like when you're at work and maybe your boss doesn't never appreciate what you do, they're always saying, oh, you're not doing this well, why did you do like this, and they cross. Or maybe it's work pressure from colleagues. You're like, what am I not doing? What am I doing differently? What am I not doing differently? It may make you question who you are, your worth. It may make you feel like, am I fitting in or not? And then that could lead you to being really overwhelmed and lead you to loneliness. And when I say loneliness, we've already explained what loneliness is: feelings of being left out or cut out from the world or from other people. And then when I talk about caring for others, don't quote me wrong. Some people, you could be a main carer of your loved ones, say your grandparents, and then it takes a lot of energy, mental energy, a lot of effort, and then you're like, oh my God, what is this? You feel like you burn out and you feel like you're giving up, or you feel like you're not meeting other carers, you're isolated. All that can be a trigger of loneliness, because you keep questioning, why in the world am I the one sacrificing to do these things, and why am I feeling this way? And then also, for children who are bullied at school, this could lead to feelings of being lonely, because when you're bullied, both emotionally, physically, or mentally, it can affect the way you relate to other people. And when that social contact with other people is not of quality, then it could lead to feelings of loneliness. And then another trigger is the mental health issues. Every time, not every time, but on our day-to-day life, we are faced with different mental health challenges, just from stress, from depression. All those mental health issues that we may encounter could lead us to feeling isolated, because it may, like when somebody is depressed, they may choose to deal with their feelings the way they want, and that could really make them feel detached from the other world. And then I will talk about festive occasions like Christmas. Usually some people define Christmas as a way of being together with other people or family, having fun, getting together. But when somebody has had traumatic experiences, because maybe during their upbringing, when these occasions happen, they may trigger the feelings of loneliness. You're like, I have no family, I have no friends, I've fallen out with them. And I'll give an example as myself. Definitely being an immigrant woman in the UK, every time it's Christmas, you're like, oh, I wish I was in my family. You remember the good times you had when you were growing up, and to bring you to feeling like lonely, feeling like, oh God, why again? So many people who could have migrated from one country to another country, or you have no family or friends, it happens. So those could trigger loneliness. So let me know, guys, if you're experiencing some of these things, and you feel free to share with us, and feel free to share with in the comment section how you deal with these triggers. And then I'm coming in the next step, I'm going to talk about how we can cope with loneliness. Okay, here we are. How do we cope with loneliness? We've talked about loneliness as inner feelings of like you're completely on your own, and even when you're surrounded by people, you could feel lonely. We've also talked about how these feelings of loneliness can make you feel sad, feel anxious. And then we've talked about different triggers, like losing somebody you love, or being bullied, low self-esteem. We've talked about different symptoms, different triggers. But then this is a time for us to shine and to learn how to cope with loneliness, because this is an issue that can affect you and me and you and them. So it's like a subjective issue that we may not escape at some point in our lives. So the first coping strategy that I'll give to you is to journal or write down how you feel. You could get like a diary like this, or something like this, or yeah, something like this, where you can write your inner feelings. You explore your inner feelings. You could write, today I felt sad, and then you put, why did I feel sad? I felt sad because I missed my partner, or I felt sad because of this, this, and this. And then you explore them, and then you say, okay, when I feel sad, what can I do? So journaling is a way of exploring your inner feelings, and it helps you understand how these feelings of isolation, you when you understand the problem, you're able to work around it. So journaling your feelings is very, very important, and I would recommend it to somebody who feels lonely at times. Personally, I keep a diary, even if I may not write sometimes how I feel, but at least I keep writing. Is therapeutic to me, and I would definitely recommend it to somebody who is going through this phase of loneliness. And then the major coping strategy or recommendation I would give is exploring your feelings with a therapist. A therapist is somebody who is trained professionally. They have a qualification on how to give you psychosocial support or how to help you explore your feelings. And then a trained professional can help you understand how you've become who you are. Like, they help you tackle why are you feeling this way, and then they can also go through how your loneliness and isolation might have protected you from some, or to some extent, from the world. Definitely loneliness is not bad, it can also be good. So they help you explore these things, and then they also work through deeply felt childhood issues, so that have left you a prisoner of them. So you work through all those traumatic experiences, and then you find a way to work or live through those experiences. And then definitely, and how to embrace a future of your choosing. All those things can be explored with a therapist. So if you feel like being lonely is impacting on your day-to-day life, is impacting on your relationships, is impacting on the way you were living, so I would recommend finding a therapist. There are many websites online. Check if they're authentic, and just drop a call to them, and see how you can talk to them. I am in the UK, so like the NHS has what they call the talking therapies. So you call them, and then if you're going through something, there's somebody always there to talk to you. So there are also talking therapies. Could be in your country, not in the UK, could be in your country, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, USA, wherever you're watching from. You could look out for talking therapies, or look for a therapist you can talk to explore those feelings. It is really, really important, guys. Therapy is very, very important. I think I need to come in another video talk about therapy, because I understand, having gone from Africa, we have there are many taboos. There are taboos. There are also negative perceptions about talking to somebody about how you feel, like therapists or mental health. So it is the time we're in the 21st century. Talking to somebody, a trained therapist, can help you explore some of the things you couldn't explore with yourself. And then I will also go to other practical steps that you can do to cope with loneliness. One is plan ahead and how you will spend your time. For example, you could have, so usually, personally, I plan my day every time. Maybe I'm at university or I'm going for placement or to work. I write down what I need to achieve for the day. So that helps me keep engaged with my activities. And then create and follow a daily routine. You can have a routine, maybe regular exercises, daily activities of life. Those things can really help you be a better version of yourself, and they can help you cope with feelings of loneliness. I can give you an example. In the lockdown, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I remember every week I used to go out for a run. Even before the pandemic, I had that routine where I would go out for a run, like maybe 5 kilometers. I didn't just start by 5 kilometers. I started by 500 meters running, or 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, and I progressed like that. So having a routine, honestly, it can help you cope with loneliness and maintain a healthy lifestyle. This one, lifestyle, in terms of how you sleep, what you eat, those who drink alcohol or drugs, that lifestyle, you need to choose the best life for yourself, because I believe that kind of lifestyle you choose can impact on your well-being. So choose the best lifestyle. I'm not here to say choose this, but then you know what works for you, and I recommend you to choose the best option that works for you. And then consider like telehealth or telecounseling. I talked about it, like talking therapies, calling a trained professional and talking to them. If you're in the UK, I know about talking therapies through the NHS. Maybe in other countries, I think they have those services. And then limited excessive news consumption. Like all the time, I would give an example during the COVID pandemic. Every time you would be locked up, maybe you're in quarantine, you're self-isolating because of the COVID. And then when you watch the news, it would really make me feel like I'm terrified. And then I learned to cut down the kind of news I watch. Even up to today, I choose what I want to choose, the news I want to read or hear or see, because it helps me tame down some of the unnecessary things that are going to affect my mental well-being. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I will have to summarize what we talked about today. First, we defined what isolation is, and then we went down to the symptoms of loneliness and isolation. We talked about the triggers, what could trigger you, like self-esteem, making you feel like, oh no, I'm lonely, blah 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 blah. And then finally we talked about how to cope with loneliness. If you have learned 1 or 2 things from this video, I request you to just like this video, share the video, and comment, share your thoughts, share, because you don't know the soul you're going to touch tonight. So please guys, I hope you found this video so helpful or informative or educative, and I would like to hear from you how you feel about this video. Anyway, this is an issue that affects all of us, me and you, or anybody else. So the more we talk about it, the more we share these tips, the more we are able to become better versions of ourselves. I remain your girl Martha. Until then, until when I see you, we keep growing and striving together. Peace and love.